So here we are for another episode of What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? And we've got Charlene and Charlene Thompson-Wamsley and Jon Wamsley joining us again. And of course, John Paul Montilla, and I'm Jenny Morrow. And tonight we're going to discuss two movies. And Charlene wants us to call this episode Blackface, Whiteface. So, and it's fairly appropriate because the first movie is Soul Man and the second movie is White Chicks. Soul Man, if you are young and you've never seen this movie, is from 1986. Stars C Thomas Howell, Ray Don Chong, and James Earl Jones. And yeah, it's a blackface movie.
I mean, hey, it's like if you're 30 and under and you're progressive and you're woke, you're probably going to be mortified. Straight up. Like, that's what's up. You're probably going to be mortified if you're 30 and under and you're progressive and woke, because straight up, this is a blackface movie. That is the whole gag. Like,
yep,
that's the point.
That's the
gag. But so yeah, we start out and I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
Yeah. I will say it's good old Pony Boy. C Thomas Howell.
Pony Boy, yeah.
Oh yeah, he was Pony Boy.
He did it for Johnny.
He was Pony Boy. What range? C Thomas Howell.
Don't forget Red Dawn.
And then he like disappeared for like years and years and popped back up randomly. But he is the headliner for the show. And basically he is a rich, privileged white boy living in Los Angeles who gets into Harvard, and finds out just after he gets into Harvard that his dad is going to cut him off because his dad has decided that it would be good for him to try to do things on his own, and he doesn't want to do anything anymore. So he takes his college fund and decides to buy a condo in Buenos Aires. And because C. Thomas Howell was a privileged white boy, he has bad credit because when he had money, he didn't give a shit. So he bounced checks and stuff like that. And I guess, I don't know. When I went to go to school in the 90s, we had a FAFSA, and basically all the student loans came through that. I assumed it was similar in the late 80s because it's not that far apart. But
I don't remember them talking about like him having bad credit or like no ability to try and get the money to go to college on his own.
He went to a bank.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he went to a bank.
He went to the bank and they said, you bounced checks, you did this, you did that. And he's like, but I had money then.
Oh yeah, you didn't pay your electric one time. I do remember that electric thing.
That's where they talked about
as the movie like began. Like I remember John saying that like when he read the synopsis of the movie like beforehand, he was just like, this pissed me off just like so much.
Yeah.
Because he is so privileged and he uses a black scholarship to get into Harvard for free.
Yeah, the exact thing is, to achieve his dream of attending Harvard, a pampered teen poses as a young black man to receive a full scholarship.
That's what the written synopsis of the movie said.
Pampered
teen. Yeah.
That's a nice way of saying
privilege.
Privilege.
That's
Yeah. And so they have this interesting scene between him and his friends. So, this is the fun part too, by the way. Not fun, but you know what I mean. So he turns black by taking an experimental tanning pill and like basically exceeding the recommended dosage, and it like darkens his skin and somehow changes the texture of his hair as well.
They never
magically
address it.
Ever.
Never once. They never address him going from like full white boy to Bruno Mars. All right, like Puerto Rican curls. Like never address it once. And after he stops taking the pills, the white man shit comes back.
Right, instantaneously, even.
It once.
It's like Heckle and Jekyll, Heckle and Hyde.
But so, yeah, it just happens. But they have this lovely conversation, him and his other pampered friend that he was going to go to Harvard with, where, after they have like exhausted all options for him, and, they have this scholarship. And his friend's like, you can't do this. And he's like, well, why? He's like, you can't just take a scholarship from a black person. He's like, but I'm not. Here's his justification. Because there was only one black applicant that would have qualified for the scholarship, and he went to a different school with a better deal. So in his mind, it was justified because the money was going to go to
scholarship was sitting there. Yeah. No other black people were fucking
so it's
valid.
Fine.
It's fine.
So blackface. There's nothing wrong with it. And his friend even goes, you do understand that you will have to be black for 3 years. And he goes, oh, America loves black people. It's the Cosby generation.
Oh my God. I literally wrote that in my notes. The Cosby decade. America
oh my God.
people. It's the Cosby decade. I literally wrote that in my notes. Oh my goodness, I took so many notes on it. Was like I was live tweeting because I was watching this. I took so many freaking notes on this thing. So like I wanted to bring up like, so you were talking about like his dad, just taking away his money and buying a condo in Buenos Aires. But like, remember there was like a therapist. He went to go talk to his dad's therapist.
Therapist.
And they was all wearing Fila shit.
Alf's dad said to do this.
Alf's dad. All right, he just like downloaded like his own neuroses. Like his therapist just downloaded his own neuroses onto his whole like people that he was treating.
All his clients,
all in Fila.
Dude, the Fila. It was like a little cult.
Yeah,
it was funny as hell.
I wrote down, is this film sponsored by Fila? Like they all
it sure was. It sure was.
I didn't realize that Fila was that hot in '86. Like I had no idea.
Fila was a big brand. In
they
the
got
80s.
that Soul Man money.
They got
that Soul Man money.
I didn't realize it at all.
Got that Soul Man cash.
I
didn't see them turn it away on principle.
He just downloaded his own neuroses into everybody that he was treating. They was all wearing Fila and they was all taking away their kids' money to go to fucking school. Like, remember, so the scene where right after they do that, he's first initially black. He takes the tanning pills and like now he's a black man. He got the Bruno Mars hair and shit. They don't dress it, but like he jogs up to your homeboy in House 2. All right, he jogs up right beside him and stuff. All right, and like I thought it was funny that like he just allowed him to jog there, and I was like, this should be like more realistic. He should just, the racism like, should be thicker.
Walking away, he should be like jogging away.
Yeah, he should have been a little bit more scared. Like he was just like allowing it to happen, and I was thinking, '80s racism is so polite.
Just kind of give him side eye, like why is this man jogging next to me? Kind of look.
Yeah, it needed to be more realistic. Like he needed to have like a rape whistle and blow that shit or something, or freak out or something. Like it should have been a little more hardcore.
He was the working man snob.
This movie is wild.
He was the working man snob.
And it was like so everywhere because when we got HBO when I was a kid, this was one of the movies that probably played like 4 times a week, like in it's 86. Yeah, so I'm probably watching it like 88 or something, like 3 times a week, a white man in blackface, like ha, being 8 years old, laughing at it. And like there are so many scenes that's like stuck with me. And I remembered them as I was watching them, again now, like basically 35 years later and shit. I didn't realize like how much that movie got like ingrained into my brain. Like so much of it, like I remembered in like little comedy bits that I think of all the time. And that is just like wild to me, like how it shaped me a little bit. Like
Well, I have to say there's one scene that stuck with me through the years, and we'll get to that later because it was like the end of the movie. And like to me, it's the only truly redeemable scene, but we'll get there later. But yeah, yeah, there's a lot like after rewatching, I'm like, oh, I remember. Okay, yeah, no, oh. But yeah, so they get to Harvard, right? And of course, as soon as they get to their apartment, he gets a scholarship. Obviously, he follows through with this plan, believing that it's great to be a black guy in America. No problems there. And they show up at the place that I love this too. Ari Gross's mother had rented for them. Like, I'm like, who lives this life? You're like in your 20s.
Okay, I must have missed that part. I missed that.
Because the landlord or the guy who the person they talk to the property manager, whatever, when they move in, that guy who says, your mom didn't tell me when we signed the papers that your roommate would be a black man. So right then you get hit with it.
Yeah.
But of course he doesn't say it to C Thomas Howell character. He just says it to Ari Gross's character. And of course, Ari Gross just plays it off. He's like, Mark,
really?
Black? I can't believe you wouldn't tell me that. Just totally fucks with this property manager. The property manager's like,
Yeah, that was like, thank you.
That was part of his charm in this whole movie. He was such a good sidekick that like when things got too cringy, he cleaned it up. And he was like, he played off the jokes really well. I loved him in this movie.
Straight face and everything, just like deadpan sarcasm. It was, he was lovely with that.
Oh,
what a time capsule this movie is.
As they're moving in, we get Leslie Nielsen and his daughter, who is just fucking head.
Yeah, Jan from The Office.
Jan from The Office, exactly.
Yep.
She's like, a black guy?
Yeah, she's checking it off her list of
Yeah, because she was trying to swing through all the minorities, you know, like, you know, like she's trying to swing through them all. That seemed like that was her shtick. But like when the landlord thing happened and the Leslie Nielsen thing happened, I was like, yeah, now we're getting into the meat. All right, let's look into the dark underbelly of what it's like.
But you know, they still, like, I would say the whole time, you're right, the tone, they made it really mild, like really mild.
So mild. 80s racism and just like racial play, so mild and still so cringy now, you know, like even though the racism stuff that they're playing off is a lot milder, and I was like, and polite and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cringy to this day, and like, it's just wild how my personal view and like just society, like all of our fucking personal views, it seems like have like changed since that time to now, you know, like that was so much, that kind of comedy was so much more accepted then than it is now. But like the cringe was a lot more, of course, now because of the way that we've changed and the way that everybody's progressed and the way that I've progressed. But I'm sorry, like there's still just so many funny moments.
It's a funny movie, man. It's a funny movie.
You bring up a good point, because I'll give you a great example of this, exactly how you're talking about. So this, and I'll freely admit, because I'm a weirdo, I just watched the Punky Brewster reboot on Peacock. Okay.
Oh yeah,
I want to see that.
I mean,
I was a Punky fan when I was a kid, like hardcore.
That Halloween episode freaked me the fuck out.
Okay. Exactly. We are 80s kids. We grew up loving it.
Yeah, we like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. This reboot it's funny because it deals with a lot of stuff that the original wouldn't, and it tries to kind of go, remember when we were kids, ... Maybe that wasn't the right thing.
Interesting.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting. And it's a very woke show, so much so that there is even a line where Punky and her ex-husband, played by Freddie Prinze Jr., goes, "We're woke parents, aren't we?"
So that they're talking about it's woke intentionally, you know, like it's not like like underliningly woke. It's woke.
No, it's not underlining woke at all. But again, they do touch up on some of the fact that like what we thought was funny back then, because they're all 80s kids, and the whole show, I mean, I read a reviewer say that basically, you know, if you're a Generation X, you're going to love this show. If you're anybody else, you're going to be like, what the fuck? This is just not right.
Interesting.
So
okay.
It's very interesting. I actually enjoyed it in a weird way. My wife was kind of like, I'm going to continue playing my computer game while you watch this.
Was she a
nostalgia.
Punky fan back in the day?
No, she's too young for Punky. And then we watched, after we got done watching the 10 episodes of the new reboot, you know, we watched the pilot of the original, and she was like, yeah, no, I can't watch this.
Yeah, okay. So like, I mean, it's probably just like one of those things, like watching Goonies if you've never seen Goonies to this day, you know, like.
Oh, I agree. She doesn't like Goonies.
Of course she doesn't. Of course she doesn't. Like any young person that hasn't seen Goonies, I try and show them that, and they're like, "What the fuck am I watching?"
Exactly.
It's one of those you had to be there nostalgia things, you know. It's just
right. And this movie plays on our nostalgia, I think, for our ages. Like you said, watching it on HBO, watching it wherever. But yeah, it does do a lot of like, hey, the world is this. It's not this.
Yes.
And even though we're doing this to cover up our faces and stuff, wow.
Yeah.
And it does. It does do a good comedic role for C Thomas Howell and his roommate. But there are cringe moments, and
so many.
Every time C Thomas Howell acted black.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
You mean I'm bad?
Clearly, he knew no black people. No, he's never met one in his life. You can tell. Like that character. I don't know if C Thomas Howell himself.
I was going to say, who else grew up with Silver Street? Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Well, Trading
That
Places.
was another
Eddie
HBO
Murphy and Dan Aykroyd.
multiplayer. Yeah. Yeah.
Both,
Oh yeah. Because like in Trading Places, there's some good Dan Aykroyd blackface going on in Trading Places. You know, like
in the train scene.
blackface was
right,
just
that's correct.
that shit was like it still had a lot of fucking comedic pull, like a lot of comedic
Right.
weight back then. You know, like it was in multiple movies. You know, like and like I never felt cringy. I never seen my parents act like it was cringy to them. You know, like and they grew up during the civil rights movement. You know, like and they were like this. The way that society has progressed now, like we are in a different era, like, and of course, like I do feel better about it being cringy because like it is, you know, like, but they're like some of the fun is taking out of some of those just like classic kind of like comedy moments, you know, like, and I'm probably a person that believes a lot of like free speech and, you know, comedy is comedy, but there's a difference between like now you can tell the difference between punching up and punching down. And like when you're making a joke against marginalized peoples, it feels like bullying because you're punching down, you know, you're making a joke and the gag of the joke is somebody marginalized. And that's the same way, like if people are making jokes about people, if they're differently abled or if they're any kind of differently needed or anything at all, like it feels like you're punching down to whereas back then, like you weren't distinguishing the difference, you know, like punching up is a lot more classy and it feels now that it has a lot more weight instead of back then like the weight was like the classic kind of like punch down because you weren't feeling like the weight of it being so marginalized,
right?
Like if that makes
you know,
sense.
and I
But
also wonder, and this might be a bad perspective, but I always kind of took it when I watched these when I was younger, when I watch them now, not that they were making fun of Black people, but whenever you saw like with that scene with Gene Wilder when he was in blackface, which was initiated by Richard Pryor trying to help him sneak onto a train, I always thought it was them making fun of white people. Like
it is. That's the thing. It is.
You know?
Like whenever it's like being portrayed in the movie, like that's the gag, you know, like not the offense of blackface. It's the gag is like the white person trying to act in that fashion, you know.
It's still not
like,
right, and it's still cringy. I want to make that clear.
Right, but like let's talk about like the same gag, like when you see like Black people going into full like white man mode, you know, that shit be funny and it lands. Like when you're doing it like on a Saturday Night Live skit or some sort of like, you know, comic kind of like bit skit, like those jokes will still land to this day because you're punching up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why they land because you're punching up.
Right.
Yeah. Like, but like the punching down thing feels like gross, you know, like it's too easy because it's a bullying tactic, you know, like, and I definitely didn't feel that like whenever I was younger, but I felt it now.
Definitely
and now it's just like, ugh, you know, like now it's like 10,000 cringes. Like I remember, I happen to love civil rights. I wrote,
God,
I could feel your 400 years of oppression after she.
That was the most cringy thing. Like amongst, I mean, there was a lot, but that was pretty cringy. I was like,
wrote cringe with dots.
Like that doesn't even have to like backing away from the TV. Like,
yes. I must have did that 10 times. I must have clutched my shirt and backed away from the TV before the cringe got me.
That was so bad. Yeah. So to clarify, what happened was the white girl who was basically checking off her minority fuck list, for lack of a better way to look at it, of course, hit C Thomas Howell.
That kind of like it reveals itself at the end. You know what I mean? Like the minority kind of like checklist, like that kind of like reveals itself at the end. Like before, I just thought that she was just like thirsty for a big black dick. You know, like that's just
what it seemed
that
like.
BBC. She was trying to get after that BBC, and like then there it was, and then she even made us a comment about it, like, well, not all of the stereotypes is true. And it was like, well, bitch, you know, they're not. Maybe they are.
Unfortunately, you picked the white dude. You know? So you can't really do thorough research that way, I guess.
You got the Bruno Mars on them tanning pills.
Oh my God. Tanning pills.
Yeah, so
and the setup for the tanning pills is so great that they have that one kind of like stoner surfer, like
he's passed out
dude
on the floor.
That's like passed out on the floor, and he gets a job like at a place that makes tanning pills,
like
or
a cosmetic research or something like that.
Yeah, like the setup for the access to those weird, like
just for the tanning pills. Yeah. So anyway,
can we talk about the makeup real quick?
Or lack thereof.
Can we talk about the makeup real quick?
We can talk about anything you want.
Whenever I was a kid, I thought this shit was legit. And now You see the shit running down his hands. You see
the streaks by his ear. Yeah.
What was really wild, like that was like you cannot hide like the color of the bed of the fingernails. He had pink fingernails. You know, like white men are pink. All right, they're pink underneath. Like they're you can't hide these shits. Okay. You can't hide these shits, all right? Like you can't hide, there's no amount of makeup that can hide the pink fucking thing, the beds of the fingernails, just like little things like that, little ways that they could have blended it more. From far away, it was looking green. Like there was just like we have definitely come a long way.
I wrote
in black makeup, like for sure. Like,
for that, I wrote comparison to Romero's Dawn of the Dead zombies with the light
gray,
the gray colors when they were dead.
Yeah.
How dare they make brown makeup with green undertones? I could slap a bitch for that shit in the 80s. That is just fucking terrible.
Well, you know, they probably only had white makeup artists on all place.
Like green, because like every like, you know, kind of like brown thing has even like, you know, like I'm very fair, so like the color makeup that I wear, I'm sure is white girl makeup. I'm positive of it. As a matter of fact, like I know what I am, but like each of these things have like warm and cool undertones. All right, it's either red or blue undertones. They gave this motherfucker green undertones. Like, do they think black people are monsters?
Like you're all Hulks. Apparently, you're all.
I'm telling you.
Hulk.
It's Dr. Jekyll time.
Yeah,
when he takes
there it is.
Pill.
There it is. There's the Mr. Hyde. He's got the green undertone.
He's got the thing under. Yeah,
but it's confirmed that they thought that black people was monsters. Okay, it's confirmed. Dr. Jekyll's and shit. What the hell? Like,
yeah, that was.
Can you
that makeup
believe
did
it?
not age well.
So yeah. So he goes to Harvard. And of course, as he's signing up for classes, he sees that there is a black professor teaching, I believe it was criminal law, which is James Earl Jones. So he wasn't originally going to take criminal law at this semester, but he's like, well, since a black professor is teaching it and I am a black man, of course he's going to help a brother out.
And he says a line when he walks into class that makes you cringe, because anytime he's actually trying to like act black instead of just be black, you know, like anytime he's trying to act black, then you're probably going to try and cover your face or put your head in the sand or do whatever you can to get away.
Oh my God. So like when he was all militant walking down that hall.
Yeah,
like the Black Student Union meeting.
Yeah,
and he comes in looking like a fucking fake ass Black Panther. What the fucking 80s thought Black Panthers was and shit.
Yeah,
the beret, the camouflage pants, the black sweater. Yeah, for like the Black Law Student Association is what it was. And he,
oh my God,
which was his friend though, who said, I believe they're very militant. So
yeah.
Totally set him up, but he's also an idiot because he should have fucking known better. But no,
or like a little on the militant side. I don't think it was quite like, I think they're very militant. It was like a little on the militant side, something like that. And then he went like way overboard with the militant, and it was just like,
vaguely
somebody get me out of here.
Or when he runs into Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her boyfriend, like the characters that knew that they were going to Harvard. Yes, and he does a weird like
that is what stuck with me. That's what stuck with me my entire life. I didn't remember James Earl Jones.
Interesting.
I didn't remember Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I didn't even remember Ari Gross. I remembered that particular scene.
I'm so sorry.
And it cracked me up because
he was still laughing. Don't get it wrong.
I laughed. It was funny.
I laughed now
it was
too.
Funny.
It was funny, and it
was his Stevie Wonder,
me.
man. It's like, but you know.
Did it make me feel dirty laughing? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
But it was funny.
It wasn't funny. Yes, it was funny. It was. I'm sorry. Like it's just like some of like
it's just comedy.
Yeah, terrible comedy bit. All right, just terrible. Like, did Joe Piscopo in Saturday Night Live do a blackface Stevie Wonder at one point? Am I getting memories just like mixed up? And
I don't remember much of the Piscopo era.
Yeah, I don't recall either.
I was young.
I mean, Eddie did it all the time.
Eddie,
listeners, Google it, see, and then let Charlene know.
I think you handled that very well.
Thank you.
I try real hard. Yeah, so the whole time, you know, so he's making these horrible stereotypes in his behavior and bad assumptions, of course, because like when he comes into contact with James Earl Jones as the professor, he's like, yeah, you all get no free rides, you will have your assignments in on time, there is no excuse. And you could tell he actually expected more from the black students. You know, it was pretty much made kind of clear in his behavior. And so it goes along, and we come across he's trying to woo Ray Don Chong's character, but meanwhile he's hooking up with the crazy white chick who's, you know, checking off her, you know, list, also to piss off Daddy, I believe was part of it. He blows off Ray Don Chong, which why the fuck you would ever blow off Ray Don Chong, I don't know. But he blows her off.
It was implied, like he was feeling her like early on, and it was kind of implied that there was an interest there, you know, like
I thought.
Yeah, but then he blows her off. He gets a date with her, and he blows her off to go with the crazy white girl to dinner.
He had to go and get the shore thing. It was just like, I'm gonna go get this shore pussy, or I gotta work for it. Or, you know, she might figure I'm a white man. Let me go and get this shore thing. She's hella thirsty.
So he shows up at the house with the white girl,
there you go,
to the rich white people house at dinner, and they have this terrible scene where like each of the white family members is having their hallucination of the terror of who this black person must be. You got the little boy seeing Prince. You got
this fucking shit of how everybody visualizes like a black man being in their presence is iconic shit for 1986.
Totally.
You got fucking the young dude with the fucking Prince. He feels like he having dinner with fucking Prince.
Yep.
You got the fucking white Mandingo joke with the white wife and the Mandingo joke. And like that shit was still, Mandingo was still fresh. All right, this is 86.
Yeah.
So like Mandingo was still fresh and still like super funny. People knew about Mandingo. That was my black mother, 100% black. My parents is black. Both of them is double black parents. All right, that was her favorite shit. She fucking laughed like so hard on that fucking Mandingo scene. Like every single time I watched it with her, she was cracking up at that shit. Like that dinner table scene might be iconic in my mind just because my mom laughed so hard at all the ways
I wish I could have watched it with her. I wish we could have watched it with her.
Oh my
gosh.
My mom would have been fucking dying on that shit. Like straight up.
God.
Like straight
she
up.
would be. I feel like she would be on here with us somehow.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
talking about
for sure. Like my
at the time,
my mom would have had. I would have made her come in and have a little talk about a little guest spot. Like she would have came in. She wouldn't have got too heavy. She wasn't like just like a heavy bitch. You know, like she would have talked about what was funny, and then she would have been like, "But that was wrong." Like,
yeah, that was her voice exactly. Oh my god!
But that was wrong.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "It's funny though." Like
it's funny. It's wrong, but it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes wrong shit is just funny. You know, like
Blazing Saddles is still funny.
Oh man, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
You know, Blazing Saddles is totally different.
Great.
You know, it actually was.
It is totally different.
Yeah.
It is totally. It's in the same vein. It really
it's
is.
in the ballpark.
Like with the timing and like the way like those like racial jokes were just kind of like classically like there's a timing and then there's like a certain category of things that you can pick and it's out of that bag of categories. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that worked like during that time. So like I'm definitely gonna say that like it's in the same vein but quite different. Like quite different for sure. Wait, did y'all like this movie? Did y'all
when I was younger, I found it impressionable, and that goes towards the end of it. There's stuff that made me laugh then and now, but did I really like the movie?
Yeah, like overall, how did it leave you feeling overall?
The end of it made me think, and it actually, when I watched it originally in the 80s, I think it did a good thing for me. Did it need to be that? Probably not. There's plenty of other stuff out there that didn't involve blackface that I also learned from as well. But you know, I mean, obviously when I was younger, it didn't hit me as cringy as it does now, but it did make me cringe when I was younger too. And I just, you know, right away was like, fuck is this guy doing? And just, you know, I was a person who never had any expectation of my parents paying me to go to, or paying for my college or anything for that matter ever. So I'm like, you little entitled. I mean, I don't think I knew the word entitled at the time, but I was like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Get a job. So I mean, there was that.
Job. He didn't try to get a job.
No,
like,
he
that was
did.
I feel like he ended up being able to stay in Harvard, like after all the shit hit the fan. And then the punishment was just working.
Working and having to pay his dad back.
The ultimate slap on the wrist.
So it was the late 80s. He could have even emancipated himself so that he didn't have to go off his dad's income and get financial aid. You know, in the 90s, when I went to apply shit, in Ohio, you cannot emancipate yourself. Even if you could prove that your parents were not going to do dick for you, which mine did help me out a little, but you know, I mean, even if you could prove that they would give you no assistance whatsoever, you cannot emancipate yourself. When I was filling out the FAFSA in the 90s, they stopped it.
Interesting.
Wow.
You know, I'm like, this motherfucker could have done that though. You know?
I mean, there's so many other avenues like that he could have took, and working was one of them.
Yeah.
He did the
Get a
justice
job.
to the end. He was punished to work at the fucking end. Like, I wrote down the amount that it was that he was ready to fucking commit suicide over. All right, he was going to hang himself.
No, he hung
couldn't
an effigy
pay
of his dad instead.
Oh yeah, but like it was like you thought that he was going to hang himself.
Yeah, he was like looking through the news, like
yeah. All right, so for 3 years of Harvard, it was $53,979 in 1986 to go to Harvard Law. That was with the dorms and the eating plans,
cost
and
of
that
living,
was the
everything.
full ass total, $53,979,
Which is
and
a
like,
joke now.
right, which is fucking crazy, all right, because I feel like minimum wage is like the same fucking shit that it is right fucking now that it was then, maybe like $2 higher here in PA, and like that's it. But like that's what he was about to. He chose blackface instead of trying to work to pay for 53.
Couldn't get along. All right, blackface.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
it's
For
so
sure.
crazy when you watch it now.
So we forgot to point out. So it turned out, which is kind of important. So Ray Don Chong's character actually would have gotten the scholarship had he not gone blackface and taken it. Because what happens instead?
That was like the turning.
They opened it up
point
to the whole
like,
state of California,
Yes.
and she would have got it, but he went in and pretended to be a black person and took it
That's
from.
when it went into message mode. You know,
Yep.
like we're like, we're leaving the comedic shit behind, and there's a real message behind this blackface for white people. There's something for y'all white people to learn under this. That was like that was the very first part. It was like, here's the message of the movie, you know, like, which was interesting. But like, I want to talk about real quick that C Thomas Howell and Ray Dong Chong, they was really vibing in this movie. They got married. They met in this movie and got fucking married in real life. Like, and you could see the vibe between them. Like, you could see the chemistry between them. Like, it was real and it was real, but like, you could see it. It was palpable. And like, whenever Ray Dong Chong and the love scenes and something little lovey-dovey might happen with their chemistry, they would switch the music up to R&B. Every time it would be some like standard white shit like Beach Boys or whatever. There was some Beach Boys gags and shit in there. But when Ray Dong Chong and fucking C Thomas Howell was vibing, that shit was switched to fucking R&B. And then Vesta Williams came on and was like, ooh yeah and shit when it was vibing. I mean, that was so hilarious to me.
Completely different
The way
vibe.
that they switched up the music was so funny. I was really interested in knowing if you guys had a good time or felt like positive at the end after you watched it now, you know, like, and like Jenny gave me a little bit of like how she felt. Like, you didn't feel very positive after you turned that shit off about it. It was lots of like more cringe than positive. That's what I gathered. Am I right?
Well, because there's so many other ways you could have got that point across, and the people that would understand the point wouldn't need this to get it, you know?
Right. And like the way that we talk about race now is a lot different than the way that race was portrayed and the way that we just communicated about it like back then. And I was really curious to see how both you and JP felt after watching it this time around now. JP, give me some. How you feel?
I'll give you some. Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll give you
some.
both of my takes. So initially as a kid, I watched it like you guys a bunch of times. And I'll be honest with you, I was young. I thought, okay, it's funny. It's got C. Thomas Howell, who I loved from good old Red Dawn and being Pony Boy and all of that stuff. And I was like,
he was so hot then.
Again, C. Thomas Howell was one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
So
like one of
classic boyish looks.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I really was like, okay, this is a good movie. It's got C. Thomas Howell. And then they had Ray Don Chong, who I had a little crush on from.
How could you not?
from Commando, when she was in Commando.
She was looking. That's my favorite Ray Don Chong is Commando for sure.
Yeah.
Because she was sweaty and dirty, and there was something about sweaty and dirty.
Tales from the Dark Side is my favorite Ray Don Chong because she turned into a gargoyle and killed people. But that's just me.
But again,
y'all on that shit. Y'all on that horse.
Yeah.
but she was really good in it.
In Commando was just a year before this, so then I saw her in this, and I was like, "Ooh, she's looking much better in this." So I was like excited about that. Being a little kid watching, going, "Okay, I like this." Watching it now, I'm just like, "Okay." I'm still very attracted to this girl, but the movie itself, I mean, yes, it has some funny parts, but there's still some parts, like you said, cringe, and just like, I'm like, some of these jokes just aren't landing the way I mean, because now you watch it and you're like, I should not really be laughing at this joke.
It makes you feel dirty inside watching
it does.
now.
It
gives
really
you
does.
a bad feeling many times. Like, I mean, I must have felt bad about laughing, I don't know, 30 times, but I laughed 30 times. All right. Like, please understand that, like, I thought that I was going to walk away feeling like really bummed out and probably mad, but I didn't. Like, I had a good time just thinking about the differences, like in the way that we've progressed and like how that was then and what it is now. That was really like inspiring to me, like how people can change and how.
No, and I agree with you 100%.
I expected you guys to kind of like not feel very positive about it walking away. That was my expectation. I felt positive after I did. Like, I felt like I had a good time watching this movie. And maybe a lot of that is tied to nostalgia, like probably a good portion, maybe 40% of me feeling positive about that was tied to nostalgia. But also there were a bunch of gags that I laughed at. And like, I'm sorry, I was entertained. And actually, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry that I was entertained. So I had fun watching this movie, but like, give me some more, JP. Give me some more.
Okay, so let me ask you this: as you said that, and I, because I asked my wife the same thing. I was like, who do you think this movie was really made for? Do you think this was actually made for all the audience, or do you really think this was centered more towards the black or white audience?
So I think that this movie was made for all of the audience. This is not a black film. There are black films. You know them. Right. This was not one. This was supposed to be palatable for everyone. And I feel like at the time, it was. Yeah.
I agree.
Not now. Yeah, it's not
definitely
now.
Not now. And that's why I thought when I was watching it, because I'm like, I'm still enjoying it. And like you, I thought we've progressed and this is wonderful. And there are still funny moments and cringy moments. But now it also doesn't feel like it's for everybody anymore. Like if you were to show this, to even somebody like, I don't know, 5 years younger than us, they would be like, why are you making watch this terrible movie?
Yeah, I have a friend that like it comes on occasionally on some of your podcasts. That this is Dave Edmonds, and I really want Dave to watch this because he's young. He's getting ready to turn dirty 30. I'm 41. This is a very different era, and I would love to hear his take. Him being so young, and like Dave has a similar sense of humor to me, like with I do, but there's a nostalgia factor there that's going to be missing from him. And like, also he's very progressive and woke, like for like a white man, he's very progressive and woke. And I want him to watch it like a bunch. I want anybody out there listening that if you are white and under 30 or 30 and under, watch this shit and fucking hit me up and let me know what you think in the DMs. I just want to hear your fucking take, like, cause it's interesting to me. Like I want to hear your take, especially if you're very, very, like, if you really think that you're a true progressive, let me know how you feel about it. Unfiltered. I want to hear that shit. Yeah. I want to hear that shit. I want to triple hear that shit. Like, I want to hear your take on it. Yeah, I want to hear some fucking feedback on that, because like when y'all hear the fucking R&B music play with Rain Dong Chong and the vibes, like, are you gonna pick up on these little subtle things? There's just little subtle things, that like that race is the big picture on it, you know. But like I really do feel like at the time that this movie was supposed to be palatable for like anyone, like absolutely anyone, and it was. Like, if my black parents like watched that movie and like they were entertained, and I watched it multiple times with them, like, because when HBO like premiered and you were like a cable kid, You know,
They had
like
5 movies.
It was like a
and they put
playlist.
playlist.
Oh yeah, for sure.
that
For
playlist,
sure.
like, and you were watching that shit on repeat for weeks on end. Like,
At least
it
a
is
month.
like ingrained. It isn't there's something ingrained in your head about like the HBO playlist, and like this was definitely part of it, like for sure, because I saw it probably 100 fucking times, like back when I was a kid. So like there's something about those movies that in the way that like when you come up and how they like shaped you, like that particular playlist shaped you and like what you feel is nostalgic. And like this is just such an interesting one because the times have shifted so hard.
100% agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm totally
hard.
agreeing with you. Yeah.
And I was very much like expecting you guys to like walk away from this movie feeling like not so hot about it. And like, I'm sorry, not sorry that like I had a good time watching this movie. And I'll fully admit that 40% of that is nostalgia and 60% was them jokes. Okay.
Come on, heroin in my hypodermic nigga, bitch. Get some more watermelon while you at it.
Yes, dear.
White fat ass slut.
This shit is ridiculously
Yeah, that
funny.
was from
like,
the dinner scene where they were all fantasizing about what.
That's that pimping shit, and it was like that's that. But Leslie Nielsen is on that racism tip, so like he's gonna give you the ugliest fucking portrayal that is in his mind. All right, and like that shit was funny at the time, and I laughed now.
Yep.
Sue me.
It was just funny.
No. And
Let's talk
again,
about the racism in it. So it was mostly microaggressive that they were showing. You know, you had like the whispered comments. You had those 2 white students that kept telling black jokes the whole time, and then they see C Thomas Howell be like, "Oh, sorry, man. You know, it's okay. We're just being funny." You know,
I like that. I like that white on white dynamic, the little inner workings of white on white shit. You know, like I like to see that shit because I'm not a part of that. All right, like even though I'm very light and bright, and I can get a very close proximity to whiteness. Like my skin tone allows me to have a close proximity to whiteness. White people will let me in faster, and I know like that is part of like my privilege as being a light fucking bitch. But like on the sneak tip, I'm fucking seeing what y'all about, and I'm telling all the dark motherfuckers about y'all asses. So like, that's
you're spying. You're
spying. I'm spreading the word.
She's fucking Mrs. Smithing me.
I'm telling all y'all white secrets.
Now you know why she's got the list.
Like, the condor has landed. Repeat, the condor has landed.
I'm warning you, I'm armed.
Like they had that. Then they start showing bigger versions. You know, the cop following him home and arresting him, and then like he's getting his ass kicked in jail because they throw him in the pen with like a whole bunch of Celts fans and that lost the game. You know, they throw the N-word in there.
Throw that shit around. That shit was freely fucking getting thrown in the 80s and shit. Yeah, throw that shit around. That's when I was feeling like, this is what I'm here for. Like, give me fucking some of that ugly. Like, everything was so like polite and like
clean cut
and sanitary. It all just felt so like
again,
sanitized.
It was made for everybody. That's what, you know.
It was made for everybody.
That's why that. But now it's still one of those things because it's like, okay, well, we have moved into a
so dark if they remade this movie.
So let's talk about a reboot of this movie, and not if it's possible, but how you could make it possible. Because I feel like in my mind, I have tried every angle to make this movie
now in a sense
and make it possible.
In a sense, they kind of did it with Tropic Thunder.
No.
I mean, not a good thing, and not exactly the same theme, but they kind of. But it was kind of the same thing.
This is the most recent version that we have of Blackface, like for sure. And like, there's been so many Twitter things, like feeds, arguments, discussions about Tropic Thunder and Blackface and all that shit and like what it means, because that's the most recent version of what we have.
Yeah.
But that movie was not predicated. The entire movie was not
It wasn't based on it. It was another thing they threw in.
It was a facet of it, but like it wasn't just strictly about this is a white man in blackface and that is the premise of the movie. Right. You know, like so like it while that is the most recent comparison that we have, it's still just
mainstream.
What I'm talking about is a full reboot where the entire fucking premise of the movie is a white man in blackface stealing the scholarship. How could you do that now? I just can't figure out any angle. It's impossible. You cannot do it now without somebody. I can't think of a version of this coming out right now where I would feel, I watched that and I would feel like that was funny. Like it just
Yeah, no way.
it
We
wouldn't
can't.
be
We don't
funny.
live in
Like,
that world
right,
anymore.
Right.
No way.
I mean,
No way.
look how much look where we've come. You know, look where we've come. Like there's definitely still like lots of fucked up shit that has not changed, and I'm talking like 70%. You know,
There
but
is
like
a movie. I
30%
can't think
is
of the
different.
actress's name. It's gonna drive me nuts. She was in Resident Evil. She wasn't the star. She's a badass. I love her. I can't think of her name. Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a movie where she plays the character that was supposed to have been a man and somehow gets. I haven't watched the entire movie. I just like read the premise of it, where she gets basically drugged out, knocked out, and turned into a woman from a man. Wakes up as a woman. I think that might be the closest you can get to it.
I mean, like,
Well,
but like gender.
It's not the
swapping-
same thing. I mean, switching gender versus switching race. I don't want to make that, but I think that is the closest you can get
We
away
can
with.
do that
at this
now,
point in
but there
time.
would still be lots of people that are fucking up in arms about it, like for sure. But like the whole like white man and blackface premise, I just don't think that it can be done in any form and have it be funny or make me watch it and feel like I had a good time watching that shit. Like it just can't be done. Like part of the reason why I had a good time is the fact that like we're looking into a time capsule of a different era.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why that it's still like funny to me when I watch it now. It's the time capsule aspect of it. Like you could not remake this movie now and I would not be entertained. I could not be entertained watching this same shit.
Yeah.
Like I would
Nostalgia
literally
is a
be
wonderful
fucking up in
drug.
arms.
Yeah.
Nostalgia is a
I'd be
wonderful
up in arms.
drug.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
my wife says that to me all the time, that nostalgia is a wonderful drug. Because there's things I love now, and even if they make new properties of that same original stuff, I'm still going to enjoy it. Star Wars is one of them. You know, certain horror movies is one of them. You know, reboots of certain horror movies is one of them. You know, you know, stuff like that. It's like nostalgia is still there. There's still the basis of Freddy Krueger, you know, even though, yes, I know John probably hates that reboot. But anyways.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, yes, no, we can't make this movie again.
No.
But I mean, take a movie like Black Klansman, where he didn't go whiteface or blackface. He was just somebody on the phone to bust. You guys have seen it.
Seen Black Klansman.
Yeah,
You
we
haven't?
gotten around to that one.
Okay.
No, and like
I've heard it's good. And I
and
want
like
to see
it's
It's
it.
great.
totally on the list, but like I don't know, like John gets to watch stuff while he's working, and I am working while I'm working.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working too.
He
but,
working
like,
too,
I just have
but,
stuff
like,
on in the back.
John,
but, like, he
I do the
does-
same thing. Don't worry about it.
Like if I got stuff on in the background, I can't pay attention to that shit. Like it's just it's the nature of my job. Like the nature of his job is quite different than mine.
Right.
And like they're both office jobs, but it's just quite different. And like I just can't watch anything that I have to pay attention to. Like while I'm we're way off topic, but what I watch while I'm working is completely mindless, and I love raggedy ass TV. I watch Maury. I watch Steve Wilkos. All right, and then I watch Pittsburgh Today Live, which is the morning show, and they replay it at 2
Fogies
o'clock.
in the morning.
2 p.m.
In the
All right,
afternoon.
it's a morning Pittsburgh show. They replay it at 2 p.m. Then I watch that, and I'm like, ooh, what's happening in the city? And then I watch
got a shitty
Maury
Columbus one,
and
so
fucking Steve Wilkos again. All right, they come on at 12 and 1, and then they come on again at 4 and 5. I watch Maury and Steve Wilkos again. I watch Maury and Steve Wilkos 2 times a fucking day, and then I watch the news. That's what's in the background. Like, I will watch a whole fucking season of some shit and be like, "This is fucking great. It was so good. Did you hear about that show? Blah blah blah. Yeah, I watched all of it today. It was so good. Like,
That was awesome.
yeah, it was amazing. And I'm just like,
that Kingdom
I'm like,
show.
good
That
for
movie was
good for
that show was
fucking you.
amazing.
I'm glad that you can watch shit in
Yeah.
like 2 days and have a fucking outcome of how you feel about it. Like it's just the nature of our jobs are very different. All right,
it's okay. I'm rewatching the Muppets now, so I totally get you.
I should do that.
Y'all
The
working too.
Muppets.
I know y'all working too, but like it's just mine is like really intense. Like,
Yeah.
that's
It's
the
cool.
difference. Like my job is like really intense. Like that's just what's up. But like I'm
All right,
jealous.
so-
I want to watch shit. I want to watch the Black Klansman. But like we got a 7-year-old to watch YouTube and shit. I'm working. He ain't gonna watch it without me because like I want to watch it. Like just doesn't happen. But like you was talking about the Black Klansman, and that's how I got on this. Steve.
Yeah, no.
It's not gonna reel us back.
So let's reel us back. Let's go to our next movie.
End. So we get to the end of the movie. Basically, he realizes he stole the scholarship from Radon Chong. He's experienced racism. He's got his ass kicked by a bunch of white people for being black. He's got arrested for being black, but he feels guilty about stealing the scholarship. He knows he's about to get busted anyway. So he stops taking the pill, magically turns white, and the hair returns with nothing. Goes through this in school kind of trial where there's like very cringeworthy
shenanigans
going on.
Oh, that was a great scene. I love it.
We get to the one scene that I think is very good. He's sitting there with James Earl Jones, you know, and like they go through the scene about, you know, what are you going to do to make recommends about it? And he says what he's going to do. And James Earl Jones is saying, you know, you have learned one thing that I can't teach my other students. You have learned what it is to be black. And C Thomas Howell says, no, I haven't really, because at any time, if I didn't like it, I could just stop being black. And like, that was the one scene that I carried with me from the movie. Like that, the one that really stuck in my brain.
I'm so glad, like that, like the whole message of the movie was basically like summed up in like a 3-line exchange between him and James Earl Jones, and like it doesn't come off cheesy at all because it's James Earl Jones. Yeah, like it's a well done scene. James Earl Jones is a quality fucking actor. C Thomas Howell is a quality fucking actor. Like so, like you like. There is a message that sits with you like when that exchange happens, and it basically sums up the entire like message of the movie and makes everybody kind of feel like a little bit better about what they just endured 10,000 cringes, all right, like with the message of the movie, even if you watch it like today. So like that's kind of why I feel like everybody should kind of check this motherfucker out, all right? It's poignant today on how things were then versus how you're going to feel about it right now. So you need to sit in it. It's weighty. It has mass. There's gravity to this shit. Watch it today, even if you don't have that same nostalgia tie to it that the Gen Xers have. Watch it today and let me know what the fuck you feel about that shit, because I am quite interested. Like, I just want to know.
Comment away. We want to hear what you think.
Comment away, yeah.
Please.
So, moving along, we got White Chicks next. Now, John Paul and I are not huge fans of this movie. Charlene loves it.
Oh.
Listen, I don't love it, but once again, it is entertaining to me.
Oh,
look,
boy.
Racial dynamics are entertaining to me, all right? Whether it be like bad or good or whatever, it's interesting to me. The sociological aspect of it and how it plays into everything, this shit is interesting to me. So like that's why I kind of wanted to like put these two movies off. I wanted to pit them off against each other to talk about like the punching up and punching down dynamic of like the Blackface and the Whiteface. Because while there are cringe moments that happen in Whiteface, they don't have the same gravity. They're cringe because like they're just like bad. The makeup's bad. Like the comedy they were trying to land was bad. Like they're just bad things because it's not like a super great movie, but Terry Crews is like, he knocks it out of the park. Like it's like
Terry Crews.
It's like it is a classic comedy fucking role that Terry Crews plays in there. Like he's the shtick, like he's using his entire body as comedy. All right, like all of his muscles and all of his facial movements and all of his thing. This is a good comedic performance by Terry Crews, and that's what my favorite thing about this movie is. But it's definitely a fucking bad movie.
Terry Crews. The bountiful curves remind me of the hills in Italy.
So, premise on this one. Yeah, 2 FBI agents, which that opening scene, I like don't even understand why that was there. You know, like
Spanish appropriation. Hey, I got JP on the
mic.
I want to talk about the Spanish appropriation at the beginning.
Oh my God.
So it starts out they're pretending to be Hispanic of some sort, Latino, Latinx. I don't know what they're trying to pretend to be. Owning a bodega, maybe.
I couldn't tell if they were Cuban or Dominican, which made it even harder.
But you could tell that
Using
it was
lyrics
some
from
island
Lombardi.
shit.
It was some weird island shit. And that's the problem. Because when you're trying to be Dominican and Cuban, which are completely different Hispanics in different worlds.
Did you think about this, Mr. White Man?
No.
Did you? See, of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. Like you didn't specify. Like there was nothing in your mind. Like this was some Spanish appropriation shit. But like you didn't like think about what kind of Spanish.
It was just like another version of blackface. To me.
See, yeah.
It was just like, but they were in disguise because it was their job. They were like fucking.
It was.
Terrible.
Oh my god.
It was so cringy.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Oh yeah, it was bad, but it was funny.
Fuck.
Right.
It was
still
awful.
funny. It was
John Paul,
awful,
anyway,
but-
honey, like, this is you. So how did you handle that?
I mean, I look over at my wife and I'm just like, I can't even tell that they're trying to speak Spanish or not.
They said La Bamba a bunch of times.
I mean,
they put so many.
Yeah.
They put so many just random like
it was
Spanish
just random words,
that-
and it was just so like, oh. And if you want to talk about bad makeup, that beginning scene
God.
is worse makeup than the white chicks themselves, because I figured it
You're
out.
so right. That
After
bald cap was fucked up.
And the nose and the weird fucking
bad.
nose
The noses was weird.
that Marlon
The
was
weird
wearing.
nose. Yes.
Yeah, because they zoomed
So
on
talk
Marlon's
about this.
disgusting nose, and I'm just like, no, this is just wrong. but that's the thing. So yeah, people say when you think of white chicks, you think of how terrible the makeup was as them as white chicks. I realized something yesterday. That makeup is not bad. You know what's bad?
It isn't.
No.
Not at all.
No, you know what's bad?
Look,
The contacts.
There's little things that
The
make it really fucking
contacts,
weird.
exactly.
Yes, it's the
Those
contacts.
They got
eyes.
dark rings. They got
Yeah,
black
the
rings.
Around-
eyes
around
make them
the
look like
irises.
weird,
Yes.
creepy monsters or
Doll
something.
eyes.
Yeah.
They have weird
It's dolls.
doll
They
eyes.
look like mannequins.
Weird
Light
doll
for
eyes.
that skin.
It's like not
It's too light for that.
it wasn't
skin.
even the light. So like whenever you have like I'm a person that has worn color contacts in the past. All right. And like it's not the fact that like the light, the color of the contacts, it literally was the black ring around the iris.
Right, it looked like a
And
weird monster.
Yeah, they had weird black ring around the iris that is not human at all. Like it's doll shit. And
It's
like
exactly, they look like fake dolls.
that's what. But the makeup actually is pretty
Yeah,
good.
Yes.
Like they look
exactly.
strikingly like the other white girls. I mean, when you look at the
They-
face shape and stuff, it's creepy. And of course, you know, I guess maybe it's because we all look alike. I don't know, but
Conceivable.
But like when I watched it this time, because I gotta come on the show and talk about it. Like I realized a lot more that like they really were like mirroring the same character. Like they were trying to act like the sisters, like not just random white chicks.
no, they were
Like,
specifically
oh my
being like
God.
that. Yeah.
Like, and, not, like, and of course, like they were supposed to have like the fake face-off moments, and they're putting their face on there so they can look like them, and everybody thinks they're like they're clones at the
Yeah.
end and shit. It's weird, like that.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
but like, it was the acting, like the way that they were both acting like similar. I was like, oh wait, they actually did a little bit more like work on this than like I initially thought. Like it was, it
Yeah,
tied
and
in
I thought
together.
that shit was funny as hell. Like when they were just, yeah, that had me rolling. That was part that I appreciated more than the last time I watched it. I was like, no, that's funny.
All right, for the sake of argument, let's just quickly pull up the synopsis. Somebody read the synopsis of this movie, and then we'll just discuss the whole movie. Let's not just.
Well,
do
why
every
say
single-
it and not just do it, Jump off?
All
Pull
right,
up the
here we go.
synopsis and read it.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Like, is it
Don't
gonna
put
be
it on other
yeesh?
people. Do your job.
Because now I don't have it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, okay. Well, I'll just go a little bit. Meanwhile, so I guess the opening scene was because they fucked up. They fucked up and actually tried to arrest people that were delivering ice cream and not cocaine. And so
Yeah,
their
like you-
jobs were at stake. They get this,
Bungling shit.
yeah, they get this chance to redeem themselves by just being babysitters. They were supposed to take these two white girls and give them to the Hamptons, and that was it. And they fuck it up because baby, the little chihuahua, jumps out a window, and instead of stopping the car and pulling them in, he tries to steer around and pull the dog in at the same time. They wreck it. These rich, really rich, privileged white girls end up getting like, you know, cut on their nose and a bump on their lip, so they can't be seen in public, which blows the whole thing because they were supposed to get kidnapped, and if they didn't go out and go in public, then the FBI couldn't stop the kidnapping. So Sean and Marlon take it upon themselves to become those two white girls.
Well, I mean, the synopsis is exactly much
I'm
better.
good,
by
man.
you.
I'm good.
It's much better than you than what IMDb says. So we're gonna go with that. So I'm just gonna go off and say
Yes, go off.
I fucking hate this movie. I won't disagree with you that Terry Crews is absolutely hilarious in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And being a fan of the Wayans brothers, the original Wayans brothers, not Sean and Marlon.
Yo, there's a difference between Keenan and Damon.
Yeah.
And then Sean and Marlon. All right, like you can definitely see those are the patchouli Sean Wayans
helped write and direct this movie.
He did. He has his fingers in anything that's Wayans. He has his fingers in all those Wayans pies. He did, and like there's like classic kind of like timing and like the way that their gags are kind of like set up that it's like a Wayans get like setup or like a Wayans kind of like gag. You know what I mean? And like you can feel that's that Wayans kind of like stamp. But it's but Keenan and Damon is different than Sean and Marlon.
Right.
Sure.
But again, I couldn't. This movie was just so absolutely horrendous to me.
It's really fucking bad.
I and the thing is, it wasn't that. Hey, I'm not white, so I'm not offended that they went whiteface or anything. I'm just offended because.
Who gives a?
I mean, like as
nobody's offended because of that.
So the two white, like so y'all said it. Like the two white people that we got in the group, like y'all wasn't offended or anything like that. Like and then like once again, like I feel like a part of that is the punching up. Right? The punching up.
But I will give you this a cringy moment that good old Terry Crews did do in this movie when you find out that he raped that boy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's actually one of the issues I have. There's a lot of misogyny in this movie. When you
there's a ton of fucking misogyny in this movie.
I'm sorry. He's on that wheelchair and he looks and he's like, "Why are you in that wheelchair? What happened last night?" I mean, I'm sorry. They set up the gag that basically, if you have sex with Terry Crews, you're gonna end up in a wheelchair.
Because he said it.
Yeah.
He said it.
Yes.
So,
you go black.
But it's okay. The feeling will come back in a couple of days.
He raped that guy. I don't care what anybody says.
Basking in the ambience. Basking in the ambience.
Yeah, exactly. Basking in the
Well, they were both drugged, so yes. I mean, that's kind of...
they both drugged.
And he tried to drug the other girl. Like, that was the whole point.
I was literally going to say, like, if they're both drugged, is it rape? And is that a CeeLo question? Or like...
Nah, they probably.
So yes,
I mean, it was
neither technically consent, so it is.
I felt like they was vibing. They was both on drugs. Like
Terry Crews is like,
when he does his little,
he raped that guy.
Yeah, it was just.
But to the point, he was originally going to try to rape. Was it Sean Wayans? Right? Was playing.
Yeah.
Tiffany. Because he was trying to drug her.
The dog. Like I felt like that boy and that dog scene. I was just like, God damn. The dog. That's. I was like, he raping that dog.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That was not consensual.
I mean, and again, and then you had the side story with the other FBI guys, which even that whole thing is just like, what the fuck is going on?
Who would you fuck in? That was just
sniffing of the panties, all of that. I mean,
not even just sniffing. Motherfucker stuck his tongue out and licked the crotch of the head.
That's right. He did lick.
It was just
what the fuck.
Exactly.
We get into that Sean and Marlon Wayans stuff. There's they like gross things. You know, like when you talk about like don't be a menace while drinking your juice in South Central in the hood or some shit. You know that movie I'm talking about.
Don't be a menace while drinking your juice in South Central hood.
Yeah. Listen, that's I think that shit is funny.
I like that movie though.
Yeah, I was like, we was talking about that tonight. He was like, I was like, listen, I think you should rewatch that movie.
That movie is pretty funny. That movie makes me laugh.
There's mad fucking gags in it. That movie is better than this one for sure.
100%.
There's a classic comedic performance in this one, and that movie is still fucking better than this one. Like there's a bunch of funny things. But there's a gross level that Sean and Marlon got, and you seeing that gross shit with the panty licking.
Oopsie! I had a poopsie.
Yeah,
so many farts.
The lactose intolerance scene, the fart scene,
the toilet scene. The toilet scene alone, I was just like, because for me, one of the most disgusting things in the world to me is diarrhea or massive long poop jokes and sounds. Because I'm just like, it's like I can feel it and smell it, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to see this bathroom.
Let me go.
Poop jokes are so visceral, and either you're into them or you're not.
No, I'm okay.
I love fart jokes.
Listen,
I'm okay with fart jokes. That joke went too long in this movie.
That's
Oh, I loved it.
that. He
Oh,
probably,
no.
going.
he probably
Oh,
John
went
was
no.
best in the ambiance.
Oh
we,
no!
we watched this movie with our 7-year-old, about to be 8 next month.
Oh my god.
And was she
man.
laughing?
Like,
she was laughing.
listen,
Oh, she's dying.
But yeah, like this is gonna soul man her. It's gonna have a fucking impression of probably abroad her like, for the rest of her life.
She'll be in
With all
therapy.
the fart jokes.
My
Like,
parents
she
made
was
me watch.
cracking up.
I was 7.
We didn't make her. Like, she could have did her own thing. Like, I told her what the movie was about.
It's only PG-13.
I was like, Yeezy?
That's another
I'm not
thing.
judging. I'm
That's
joking,
another
honey.
thing. This movie's PG-13, and there are parts that I'm just like, how is this movie PG-13?
Really? Which ones? Which ones? I
Yeah.
watched it with my 7-year-old.
Because you don't
Yeah,
see any
because,
fart
like-
parts. You just see.
I
human
don't know.
movements.
The Terry Crews thing, that joke, I'm sorry, that's a little much.
Yo, when he blocks out the sun with his body
Yes,
and shit. And like,
exactly.
That was fun.
Like,
You get a
and, like,
nice
you
view
see-
of what
you-
Terry
I mean-
Crews is packing. Yes.
His whole
it's like-
oiled body.
and his whole oiled body and it's
Dude.
eggplant fucking Friday. Like, and my 7-year-old goes, I saw his whole penis. Yeah, and you did. You saw
You
that
did.
whole thing.
Again,
like that's the
PG-13.
gag. That's the
How is
gag.
this
Yeah.
PG-13?
That's like what's so the part
I mean, it's just
beforehand.
underwear.
The part
Oh,
beforehand.
it's just
like,
underwear.
Like,
is just
it
underwear.
makes me laugh. Like when fucking Marlon Wayans is like, oh, I'm basking in the sun, and then he's like, wait, what happened?
What
What
happened to the
happened to
sun?
the sun? Like the shade comes on it. Like that part is just as funny to
What happened to
me.
the sun?
Like and then the reveal is it's fucking Terry Crews' oiled fucking body with his fucking eggplant fucking going up his fucking draws. Like that shit is like the lead into that joke is just as funny as the joke
I mean,
to me. Like
well,
for some
yeah,
reason, like,
you're talking about that joke. They're talking about the way they wax themselves.
I got the
And
buckwheat.
Wayne goes, I got the buckwheat.
I died. I'm sorry.
I mean, yes, it's funny, but again,
Extra
how is
like
this
it's like-
PG-13? How is that appropriate?
that shit is funny. But like on an 8-year-old,
it's
like
funny.
that shit was like, pew,
Yeah,
like
that
she
was-
totally. There
I
were so
get
many
it.
things. Like
Again,
she had so many questions about this shit.
I'm not a prude, but I still am like, okay.
You
Did
don't
they
like
really
hearing
just
about
say that?
genital grooming? Okay.
I mean,
Man, the 13-year-olds would have been fucking laughing on this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this movie was made for 13-year-olds.
Uh-huh.
I
Like there's
guess.
so many gags, like there are like that, like that's the fucking gag. Like it's 13-year-old shit. So many fart jokes, a dick here and there, a sexual innuendo here and
Yeah.
there, but like
Many
nothing-
sexual innuendos here and there.
so many fart jokes, so many sexual innuendos. Like I feel like this movie was like perfectly made for like 12 to
13-year-old.
15. You know, like that was the
Yeah.
wheelhouse on this motherfucker.
Yeah.
12 to 15, like for sure. And like the PG-13 rating kind of like puts a stamp on that.
Right.
Well,
for sure.
and again, Soul Man's rated R. Explain that one to me.
That's wild.
Really?
It's
Is
rated
it?
R.
I believe it was.
I feel like I need to Google that because I can't imagine that it was rated R.
You just can't be dropping them fucking ends. All right.
Because it was
all
like
that
on all
hard
day, all
R.
night.
You can't be dropping that hard R end.
No, I'm
without
sorry. No,
expecting a
it
hard
is.
R rating.
PG-13. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say,
It's-
there's no way.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
PG-13 I could buy, but R, no way in hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like we didn't watch that around our kid, but if we had, I would have felt all right about it. Like
Okay.
she would have
There
been,
was-
she
She
would,
had many
she would have
questions.
had many,
Many
Many questions.
So many
questions.
questions. Like she wouldn't
So-
even be paying attention.
Many. It would have just been us like doing a Q&A session during that fucking movie. It would have many,
running commentary.
many,
There's a YouTube channel.
many questions my 8-year-old daughter would have had on that shit. Like, because like her view about like race and colorism is just like wild to me. Like her shit, like because like she has colorism and like racial shit like ingrained in her just because of like the media that she consumes, and like
Right.
she understands her parents. She has biracial parents and shit, and then like she's with my dad all the time. My dad is black, like he's a full black man, and then like she's very light, and then like then there's this side of the family, and like and she still has like questions and like just like shit that like her outlook is just wild. So like whatever, like there's a bunch of shit going on with her. I'm gonna deal with that shit whenever it comes.
So
She
when
would've
she
had
turns
something-
13, you can show her Soul Man and
I mean,
find out what she
yo,
thinks of that.
yo, I wanna,
If it's not banned by them.
I want, yo, man,
I
don't
want
ban
to read those comments. I want to hear her take on it.
I want to hear her take on it when she's like in college, like when she can give me like a more appropriated and like intelligent response on it. Like I don't want to hear like a, because like she's, you know, even at 13 it's just going to be like very like generic. Like I want to hear a little bit more depth. I want to wait till she's about 18.
There you go.
That's life.
Like, hey, what you thinking about this, bitch? This is the shit that I grew up on.
So I can tell you the jokes that I really loved in this movie, though, White Chicks. I loved anytime they played off of the privilege. I thought that was hilarious. Like when they show up at the hotel and they ask for a credit card, and she's like, I'm going to have a bitch fit. And she's like, I'm going to write a letter.
Yeah.
I am a white woman. And I was like,
Yeah.
My name is
you just see
Karen.
everybody step back and, oh no.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes. I love the writing of the letter shit. That to me, that is just like classic, like privilege. Like
I'm a letter writer.
Yeah, like my word on
No,
paper
don't write a
means
letter.
Let me
something.
speak to your manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love that shit. That stuff had me rolling because it's funny, not funny. You know, funny because it's true. Funny because they know it's true. Funny because it fucking needs to stop. But funny that it's being called out.
Again, her name is Karen.
There's another dimension to this movie that's a little bit different than Soul Man. Not just like the racial switching and stuff, but like we do have like a gender switch stuff here, and like some of the stuff that them going in and out of like male and female voices when they would let the like male shit like slip through and expect
That's funny.
and like to me, like not only were like it would be like boy shit, but it'd be like black man shit like slipping through, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many fucking jokes in that movie. Like it's a terrible movie, but like it makes me giggle. Like and this was your first time watching it.
Yeah, this was my first time watching it.
Him and the 7-year-old
It was
Wow.
I never
They were laughing at the same
So
shit
let's
too.
hear
weren't
your
they? Him
take,
and
John.
7-year-old.
Let's hear your take, John.
I could have lived my life when this came out in 2004. I could have lived my life without ever have seen this film, and I still feel that way. But I will say, if not for Terry Crews, this movie I would have checked out. I would have Wikipedia'd the end and just to see what happens. Like, you know,
this is not a good performance by them Wayans, young
dude,
Wayans. It's not a good performance.
They are not fucking funny. The Wayans, the younger Wayans brothers, the Sean and Marlon, they are not funny.
He don't like don't drink your juice.
It's not funny or scary movie. I hate that.
You don't like this. Like scary movie is funny.
I disagree with you. I think that these Wayans are only funny when they are doing parodies. When they do parody
the whole movie is parody though, isn't it?
Well, I meant like when they're parodying movies of other movies. They do a great job.
No, that's not funny either.
Because I do.
I
love
What other parody did they do?
Haunted House.
Oh,
Haunted
so they
House.
did more scary movie parodies? I don't even know about that shit.
Scary.
Like,
like the first two scary movies are still one of the funniest movies in my opinion.
They're funny. Like they're
funny. I laugh.
Funny. Those first two are funny as hell.
I laugh my ass off.
I don't like the younger Wayans brothers.
And don't be a menace while drinking your juice in the hood.
Gin and juice.
That shit is funny.
I mean, that movie is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, like the way that it's parodying like all of the the black movies like of that time.
I get it, yeah.
Like there's so many like little like jokes that they like kind of like go into.
But I just don't find them.
Are You My Daddy is still one of the funniest jokes in that movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now that's one I feel like.
I think it's funny.
I thought that was
you're down with the baby in the
that was funny. That was probably the only funny part. And that and the missile that
we're talking about two different movies. We're talking about the baby moon when they isn't that the daddy movie is when Marlon Wayans was the baby.
No. Oh God, no.
Don't be a menace when Sean Wayans comes.
Girl, how do you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They
boys, what do you say? Are you my daddy?
Yep.
I think that movie.
But again, no, these Wayans aren't as good as the older brothers.
So Aaron, our producer, says that Marlon did a really great movie, a time loop movie called Naked, where like Marlon keeps waking up naked in a hotel. I've not watched it.
Naked is funny on Netflix. Yeah, it is a funny movie on Netflix.
I never even heard of this one. Okay, interesting. All right,
so we'll have to look into that one. But yeah, the other funny thing, like, okay, I'm a huge fan of Your Mama jokes because I grew up in the 80s and that's what we did on the playground. And so I love the Your Mama joke scene so much. It was just, it had me so happy. So that had me giggling a lot. You know, the things that I really found disturbing were things where like, I know dumbass white people would watch this and be like, see, I said it was okay. Like where they are singing in the car and they say the N-word and then like they ask them and they're like, no, it's fine because nobody's here to hear it. Or some of the things that Marlon says to Terry Crews's character when he gets hit on by him. Like, because, you know, I mean, he looks like a white woman at this point in time, and he's telling this black person, like, take your King Kong looking self up on the Empire State. I'm like,
He said something about being a monkey, and I was like, ooh, he's fucking talking that monkey shit. And Terry Crews is a fucking white woman. I was like, ooh.
It's very, no. Yeah, I'm like, no, because...
You nailed it.
You know, you met them. White people are fucking ignorant and stupid. So they'll watch a movie like this and be like, well, I can say it because they said it, so it's funny, right? No, you can't. You know?
White chicks. That's what caused the insurrection.
Let's blame this movie. No, I mean, it's not this movie, but I mean, it's literally just stupid people that I just have issues with. And like, this shit.
This is why white people is aggrieved.
We
It's
figured it out.
Sean, they fucked it up for everybody. No, but I mean, it's just like when you watch that and you're white, you just find it.
There you go. There you go.
This is laying up as a reason for white people to be aggrieved. Like that's literally on level though. Like,
because they're like that. I mean,
like that's right in there. Like we about to see some shit. If people watch this shit like on Twitter and shit. Like,
I mean, you just find like 80 things again. Like, well, they use that word. Why can't I use that word?
I learned it from watching
I might call me my friends bitches, but if you call me one, you're gonna get your fucking ass kicked. It ain't that hard. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that stupid. Yeah. No. So I mean, like shit like that just was like, no. No.
You talked about
and the misogyny.
Yeah. Give me some of that too. Give me some of them. Any moments of misogyny that made you feel like, God damn it, what the fuck?
Well,
like,
the worst one I would say is like when they ripped the clothes off the actual two girls that was supposed to be, and they just made it seem like, oh, it was kind of funny, but sort of, you know, I was like, the fuck is wrong with you?
It was cool. There was like a full-grown man. There was a woman that covered a full-grown man's eyes and shit.
In a comedically.
It's not funny.
Yeah, but it's trying to be.
But it's not.
I mean,
it was like Benny Hill style funny.
Once again,
tried.
No, not funny.
That did get
right.
Me,
I feel
it ain't funny now, but like it did give me Benny Hill vibes. That was a Benny Hill. Yeah, that did give me Benny Hill.
No, I was like a Benny Hill moment is like Jumping Jack Flash when her dress gets caught in a shredder. That's a Benny Hill moment. Somebody deliberately ripping off another person's outfit. Not the same thing to me.
Girl, there was so much fucking like pull up, like fucking in Benny Hill and like little like butt showing and stuff that was like pantsing and things like that were like deliberate and like unwarranted. Yeah, it was naughty. I had to sneak and watch Benny Hill.
You guys are much more up on Benny Hill than I am. So
okay, again, we're Gen Xers. We grew up with Benny Hill.
Yeah. My parents was watching Benny Hill, and I had to like sneak downstairs, and they'd be like, "Go up in your room." And they was watching Benny Hill on the sneak tip, and I couldn't watch that shit. I was like 4. All right, like it was very risque, but there was definitely lots.
Well, he did Whiteface. I mean, Blackface. If you remember, Benny Hill did. He did Mr. T. He did the A-Team parody.
Wow.
And he did Blackface there. So yeah.
Just everybody did it. Like, apparently, it was a fad.
That shit was everywhere. Like in the fucking 80s, that shit was fucking everywhere, man. Like it really was. It was fucking everywhere.
Seems that way.
Yeah, for real. Like, and then like it stopped when like I felt like when Ted Danson did that blackface shit, like for that thing.
Made in America.
For a comedic roast.
Yeah, he was doing a roast, and he came out on a roast in blackface and got booed, and he was with Whoopi Goldberg.
He did Whiteface,
They were promoting.
That was the mainstream turn on blackface.
They were promoting the movie Made in America.
Yeah. Because and they were a couple too at the time.
They were a couple.
Like, and Whoopi signed off on it. He was like, Whoopi signed off on it. This wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to. This was like
actually, I think it was more than that. I think Whoopi even had suggested it, and that was supposed to be the defense that Whoopi said, let's do this.
And then that's when and people there was very offended, and it made them break up, and that was like the very first big turn that I can remember on like blackface not being funny. Like that was the shit. That was the one instance where I feel like that's when it fucking turned. Like there was a very that's the line, the Ted Danson line of demarcation for fucking blackface.
The dancing gate.
Yeah, the dancing line. All right, that's when it was. That's when blackface was no longer. Yeah, that was no longer funny. That shit is offensive.
Yeah.
All right, that's what it was.
It was like, ooh.
Like, for me, I just felt like Ted Danson must have looked so fucked up in blackface.
To ruin it for everybody.
He ruined the joke.
Here's what's crazy.
Ted Danson ruined the joke. He looks
so bad. He ruined the joke.
That movie.
Came out in shoe polish and like some fake ass.
Jolson style.
And yeah, like he must have came out in some fucked up shit for that shit. And
that movie. Here's the thing. That movie came out in '93, and you know who else is in that movie? Will Smith.
Yeah.
Young ass Will Smith,
Yep.
93.
Mm-hmm.
Mama, there's a white man at the door. That's the one thing I remember from
Oh
that movie.
man.
Nina Long is also in that movie.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Was he dating Will Smith at the time? Was Nia Long dating Will Smith at the time?
I'm guessing because they were
That was the
They worked
thing.
together a lot.
Yeah, but maybe that was just it. They worked together a lot, but I thought that they might have been a couple. Because I felt like I remember him bouncing from like one bitch that had a short badass haircut to like another bitch that had a short badass haircut, and it was Jada Pinkett at the time.
I was saying, you're talking about Jada?
Yeah, I was just like
Jada and Nina Long.
I was thinking like you went from one bitch to another bitch. That's basically the same shit. Like this is weird to me. Like I remember thinking
he's got a type.
They looked like. And I was just like, that's weird. And then like, but he chose Jada, and I was just like, this is weird. Like Will Smith is a weirdo. I don't know why. Will Smith dating Jada Pinkett was weirdo shit to me.
Oh my god.
That's something else.
I knew it was fucked up. I knew it was
With Sherman Hemsley.
With Sherman Hemsley, yep.
And who's the other person that's in? Because that's not Ted Danson.
No,
that's what it was. That's what it was. He went like 1920s blackface, not fucking like Soul Man blackface, not appropriate. He went full blackface.
but he's got Popeye's chicken in front of him, a 40.
Yes.
Well, but yeah, this isn't him. I don't think, is it?
That's Ted Danson.
This has to be it.
Wait.
This isn't it, because it was with Whoopi.
No,
that's
not
Sherman Hemsley. So this is something else.
Yeah, that's.
But like, didn't Whoopi? But Whoopi wasn't like in the scene with him. I didn't think. Like, I didn't.
No, they were walking. They went into a roast club. They were out in public when it was taken. It wasn't.
Is that what it was? Oh, but
yeah,
like, was it the same blackface?
That I think is somebody mocking them from it, but I don't think that's actually it.
Oh, that's not the actual one.
I know. Whoopi Goldberg and Sherman Hemsley don't look the same.
Oh,
that was a Howard Stern parody.
But I think that is what he did. But it was like,
Jesus
Christ, Howard!
Wow.
So we just got punked.
Frank just took it there.
Only me and Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan would think this is funny.
But he did do very much. Yeah, but it's not that like that picture was not far off. Except for actually, I think Ted Danson did it worse. I don't know if you can see this.
Ooh, Aaron,
Frank, you're gonna have to find it. Do an image search.
Aaron,
yeah, no, it was bad. Don't get me wrong. It was still bad. There we go. There it is.
We see it.
There's the actual Ted Danson.
Yo, this is why. This is the Ted Danson line of demarcation. He fucking went too far on that shit. He ruined the fucking joke. This shit cannot be funny anymore because he came out in that shoe polish shit. I knew it. I knew it. Like, he went too fucking far in that shit, and it was like, that shit's not funny no more. All right, we can't do this shit no more. No more fucking jokes.
The end.
Like no more fucking jokes. All this shit is banned.
Ted Danson
ruined it. Oh, I knew it.
Ted Danson ruined blackface. White chicks ruined America. It's fucking.
Ted Danson ruined blackface. White chicks caused the insurrection. We're figuring shit out in this show.
Yeah. I'm Q.
I'm Q.
Where that's
John, don't start anything. Don't ruin our show with your cue.
The only problem with that is, like, we can't really blame white chicks because none of the racist people would watch a movie made by black people.
Just get the clicks.
Get the clicks.
Oh boy! Click.
Oh, I'm so
How
sad.
many thumbs down can we get? How many thumbs down can we get?
This was my idea. If you got a problem with it, come and talk to me. All right.
Yeah.
We'll have a
These
decent
movies
talk.
exist.
Yeah, this shit exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hide it. This shit exists.
These movies exist.
And
Song of the South exists.
And we're having a robust, intelligent, like funny, entertaining conversation about it. We ain't fighting, you know what I'm saying? Like we ain't getting fucking all up in arms and mad and shit. And like these movies was addressing fucking everybody. All right, like that's why I wanted to bring up that Spanish shit at the fucking beginning for you, JPZ, because like that shit that I didn't notice, like I didn't digest it, and like when it was happening, I was just like, ugh. my daughter was just like she was just like, what is going on? And I wrote down what she said after they like demasked themselves. My daughter, she was like, oh, they're in masks, thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah, she was just like, what the fuck? Because that shit was like, I was like, this is mad offensive. I
Yeah,
was like, this is way worse. I was way more offended in that fucking 3 minutes of that fucking fake Dominican Cuban island fucking
whatever
the fuck that was.
In any fucking moment in Soul Man, straight the fuck up. In Soul Man, I was just like, this is ridiculous. But like that fucking shit that them Wayans was doing on fucking that fake Cuban Dominican shit, I was like, this is fucked up. What are they doing? The fucking noses was so exaggerated.
Oh God, they were disgusting.
The makeup and the slick back hair, everything was so fucking exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? Like on Soul Man, they didn't make him fucking blue black. They didn't give him some fucking like ridiculous fucking dreads that was glued on. You know what I'm saying? Like the makeup was ridiculous, but they was trying to make it as real as possible. The Wayans motherfuckers was trying to exaggerate it and cartoon it out like as much as possible. And then like I felt like this was a punching down moment. You know what I'm saying? Like oh yeah. Like I was just like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like what the fuck? It just that shit gave me some fucking like mad fucking cringe to start off with that I just hadn't like noticed before, and I was very like desperate to hear what you had to say about it. Like I knew that you was gonna fucking have something to say about it, and it was just like, hey, I'm excited to talk about these dumbass movies.
So the other thing that I thought was really kind of cringy. I mean, so one, Terry Crews trying to drug Marlon Wayans. That was
oh yeah.
He's a scumbag.
Oh yeah,
he's funny, but he's a scumbag.
Oh yeah, like
bad.
Was there anything likable about Terry Crews? Was he funny? Yes. Was he likable though? No. Because he dropped the fucking jigaboo on fucking Marlon Wayans at the end. Remember that shit? He dropped the fucking jigaboo on his ass because this was the all white party and shit. And he was like, get the
yeah, because he was more offended that he was not white as opposed to him actually being a him, not a her.
He wasn't, but it was still like such a like small number that like you could kind of fucking I guess claim that shit since it was such a small number. Like at the Kiss concert. All right, so very quickly, one time I went to a Kiss concert. He likes Kiss. He loves Kiss actually, and like I won some tickets, and the concert ended up being on like our first dating anniversary or something.
Yeah, it was in this.
And I won Kiss tickets on the radio. I tried to win them, and I won. So we went to the Kiss concert, and like I don't know nothing about Kiss, and like I still don't. I've been with him forever, and I can name them maybe. Couple of them.
She knows Gene Simmons.
I
She's got a Gene Simmons
I got a Gene
sweater.
Simmons like sweatshirt. I know Gene Simmons.
She wore it today.
I wore it today. I bought it for him. And like, but like, I went to the Kiss concert and I was playing Count the Black People. All right, like I had to count the black people in the audience and how many was walking past me and shit. Like, when I'm in white spaces.
25.
I play. What's way too many?
12. There were 12.
There were 7.
Oh,
wow.
Now, but did they have makeup on? Because maybe you were missing a few. Because, you know, there's the Kiss makeup.
Listen, I don't think I did because it was really easy to pick out. Okay. Like, it was easy. Like, I was just like, they're going. Like, there, and then, like, I'd be like, hey. You know,
did you include yourself in the count?
When we see each other, like, it's like a black people thing. When you see each other, like, and you're in like spaces when you're the only black people, if there's a certain amount, all right, you're going to be like, hey. But if there's like really small amount, then like I probably ain't trying to like holler at them. Like they on here for some different. But yeah, but hey,
Aaron, really?
Aaron funny, Aaron funny, man. Aaron funny.
What's happening, brother?
Aaron,
like, oh.
all those cringy moments and those anytime he was trying to act black, not just be black, but trying to act black.
Yeah,
like
that
the,
was,
oh,
like
God,
when he played basketball. Holy
listen,
shit.
when he played basketball,
I couldn't even watch.
Listen, I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes. All right, because there's like a real black person that's acting, you know, like he's just being a real black person.
Being themselves,
but
yeah.
like that scene with him trying to fucking like do all that shit in the basketball stuff. I'm sorry, I laughed almost the whole way through
It
that
was so
shit.
cringy.
It is so fucking cringy because he's just like acting. He's so fucking bad at it. But like that's the gag.
Oh no,
like,
I know. It's still cringy.
That's the gag. Yeah,
like, I get it, but it's still like cringy funny.
Yo, that
but,
shit.
Like the question, the dance off in White Chicks, I thought was fucking hilarious. Did y'all like?
Oh yeah, sure. That
like
was
just
fun.
because one, like the white girls being trying to be sexy and the weird shit that they were doing, and then like, I was like, this scene is hilarious.
So yeah,
it
like
looks like a hip hop dance.
So like they're little, or like a little like hip hop like aerobic workout shit, you know, that's like low fucking impact kind of hip hop workout or some shit. Like it literally looked like
exactly
some YouTube shit.
Like.
But like as they get into the fucking like b-boy fucking hip hop shit, they start breakdancing and shit. When they fucking turn on the fucking double, that like there's a good fucking like spin that they're doing,
at the very
last move, all right, and then like they give a 2-beat long stop on the double that's doing it, and it's like obviously like a white dude like with no like a full on white dude with like
it wasn't done well. I just enjoyed watching the scene.
That body double shit is hilarious to me. Like
it was like Flashdance level bad body double. So it's like, that's not anywhere close.
Like
don't get me wrong, this movie had some funny bits.
Yeah, there's lots of bits, but I can't say that it's a good movie. You know what I'm saying?
I
don't recommend it. This is not a recommended watch. Like the recommended watch is Soul Man. That's the one. Yo, there's a part in Soul Man where like he starts like things start going wrong for him. He's feeling, you know, like black shit's happening, like Ray Don Chon ain't feeling him and shit. He's doing wrong, and there's like a long kind of like drawn out like sad part of it without any speaking, and the music in the background is Black and Blue. All right, it's Louis Armstrong, and the words of that song are so fucking deep, and like that song put to that movie was my most offended part of that movie. It's a long part. There's no talking. It's a montage of him being sad. And if you listen to the words, like they are so like deep and troubling and soulful if you're a black person about being black and blue. But like that, those words being put to that moment in the movie, I was like almost nauseous. Like that's how offended I was. Like I was like really fucking. I was just like, this is some fucking.
That doesn't apply to that white boy. It just doesn't.
Now, yeah, and like remember, I had an entertaining time. All right, like, and the nausea is a part of the entertainment for me. All right, like it might not be for you. But for me, the nausea is a part of like the entertainment. Like there are some lessons to be learned about watching fucking Soul Man now, you know, like there really are. And not like just the lesson that they're trying to convey, but like your personal feelings that you feel is going to be some learned shit for you if you watch this movie, especially if you're a progressive woke motherfucker. All right. Like, like you should experience it. Like I want y'all to experience it.
Feel the cringe.
I hope y'all fucking watch this movie. Whoever the fuck is watching, you ain't seen this shit. Pay the $4 on fucking Amazon.
You spent $4 on
See if you can run it in the library. You might be able to get it for free.
Yeah. Like I want motherfuckers to watch this shit and tell me how they're feeling about it. All them feelings is gonna be fucking valid. I feel like because there's a whole bunch of them. That, like
it'll be a wide range of emotion.
Yeah, White Chicks not recommended. Like if it comes on, make sure that you're just watching it like unedited, so at least you getting the jokes, you know. But like, there's probably not too much that's going to be edited out of it if you're going to watch it on USA or some shit like that because it is PG-13.
Yeah,
I know John Paul is pearls on some of them dick jokes, but like
it's actually on VH1 on March 7th.
It does.
I just when I pulled up White Chicks earlier, it gave me the next showing of it. It's on VH1.
Well, here's the thing, you know, they keep teasing White Chicks too.
Oh no!
Now, if you ask, like Terry Crews and Jon Wamsley have come out saying that it's going to happen. Marlon has said it's in talks. Which there's like a cute little interview where Marlon's like, "Look, I'd much rather not play a white person because there's less makeup."
I'm gonna pay money to watch it. but I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
No, I'll watch it
I
for
mean,
free. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna pay any actual money to watch it. Like I paid money to watch it now because like we had to do the show, but I'm not gonna pay
Yeah.
no real money to watch White Chicks 2. But I am gonna watch it.
So wrap up, as Charlene has said, watch Soul Man, be prepared, comment. We want to know your thought about it, especially if you're like 30 and under, because us old folks, we kind of grew up with this. So in a way, we're kind of desensitized and we have nostalgia. And
We
a
are
different view of it.
desensitized. Yeah, we are.
We do
This
know
is
it's wrong, so
acceptable.
you don't need to tell us that. We understand
like,
blackface
yes,
is
yes,
wrong.
We didn't make the
like,
movie.
like even though I had a good time watching it, like I said, like this 40% fucking nostalgia,
Yeah.
of, like my positive fucking review of it, and like there was a point that I was nauseously fucking like upset. I was nauseous about it. Nevertheless, I had a fucking good time watching it, and I came away from it feeling fucking positive. But I am very interested to hear other takes on it, especially if you're from a different generation, whether older or younger, but especially younger. I want to hear your fucking take on it. But I feel like this is like must-see TV if you're fucking younger, to give you a little taste of the time capsule. Yeah, it gives you some perspective, and it gives you like a measure of change. Like as you feel like some things change and some things like stay the same, and lots of them do. But like there has been like a little bit of progression that is measured, like at least in our media and like the way that our comedy and stuff is like consumed, and what we think is funny and what we think is appropriate. You know, like there has been a shit ton of a step forward in that, and then you can really see that in this time capsule of Soul Man, like for sure, like absolutely. So I want to hear some fucking takes. I hope there's like a fucking couple of comments, man. Just give me some. Let me see what y'all talking about on this shit.
Yeah, talk to us. We like feedback. John Paul, any more thoughts on Soul Man?
I mean, again, it's definitely something completely different now than when it was as a kid. Please comment. I really want to hear what people's take is on this. I am happy that we in fact did both of these movies to kind of just bring a dialogue, and that's our show. It's what it's about, is us talking about stuff and getting into different aspects of different kinds of genre and different kind of movies. And I mean, will I watch this movie again? Probably in a couple of years, but not right now.
It feels like a fresh kind of like weird wound that's starting to fucking itch as it heals. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm feeling a little bit different about it. But like, I definitely want people to fucking like see this little time capsule, so you can
experience.
Yeah, it is an experience, and like people should fucking definitely like check it out. And like I'm super glad to have the dialogue and like the openness that we have here, like in the different kinds of people that we have on the show to talk about stuff like this, and then just to get it out in the ether. You know, these kind of like conversations, like it's very, very healthy, and like I'm just glad to be a part of it. You know, I'm glad to be a part of it and have it be out there in the zeitgeist.
and we love having you. So White Chicks, we're all like, well, you know, it has some funny moments.
Just stay away. It's terrible.
I mean, if you want to watch it. There's some value. There's it highlights privilege.
It does. It does. It does.
Highlights some misogyny. Yeah.
If you want to watch the Terry Crews cut, I'm sure somebody on YouTube has cut only the Terry Crews parts of this movie.
Yeah, if you're a Terry Crews stan, then like you got to see this performance, like for sure, because like it is A+ performance by Terry Crews.
Funny.
Yeah, like he's
so
definitely
funny.
He brings
the
his
movie
whole self
like,
to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And also his whole self is lovely to view. So there is that nice.
He's shiny.
So, but with that, now question for you, Charlene and John. Now we do have 2 more movies we discussed watching at some point. Are you guys still down for that? That's True Identity and The Associate. And if you're not, that's cool. You know, but if
I am still down for that, but I feel like we hit this topic, you know, like if we get a good reaction, or if we get like people that want to continue discussing the topic in itself, like with the switching the racial like switch kind of topic, then like maybe we can do that again and revisit it as like a part 2. But I don't know.
The reason why I would put out Associate, we also have a gender switches too, where Whoopi Goldberg turns into a white man. So that kind of gives you a whole other different view. So
Yeah, like if we get some good feedback and like people want to see it again, then like we have another avenue where we can revisit this topic again, like for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So there you have it. Comment, talk. If you want to hear more of this, you want Charlene and John back, because me and John Paul do, of course, want them back. We enjoy this a lot.
Yeah. Or if you don't want me back, you know.
You don't have a choice, John Paul.
You're stuck. You're stuck.
Also, the more you comment, the more likely we're going to put John Paul in purple lipstick.
Oh, there you go.
It was the color of the show.
So, I don't know. You gonna make John wear some
girls.
purple lipstick too, or no?
Nah, I think he's good. I think he's good.
I'm not gonna Klaus Numi this show up.
He's gonna show up with pink undertones, and he's fine.
It's all right. We'll just put him up in kiss makeup.
Yeah, we can do that.
I would do that.
Yeah,
she's done it for me once.
Yeah, it's happened before.
Talk to us. You get to see more and hear more.
I mean, that sounds like a personal thing between you guys.
It was public. You'll
That
see
kiss
pictures.
thing.
Yeah, we'll see pictures.
But
yeah, so with that, watch Soul Man. Be prepared. Talk to us. Comment. Let us know what you think. Watch or don't watch White Chicks, whichever makes you happy. But try to watch Terry Crews scenes from it, because he's just lovely.
For sure.
Yeah. He's funny.
Sure. He's funny.
He's a gem in that movie.
Definitely give us feedback.
Yeah, because what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You will say
these
what
movies
the fuck
fall perfectly into the what the fuck did I just watch vein, like for sure.
This is there.
Yeah, this is right there.
Oh yeah.